Yeah. Hey guys, we're live with our Wednesday night stream. Usually we do it every second week, but we've done the last few, and I've got the amazing Kevin Catalan and Victor Alpi with me tonight.
What's up, guys?
The two guys who, well, we had Victor. He's gonna log back on
He'll be
shortly.
back.
But how you doing tonight, Kev?
Doing okay. Got off of teaching, so I teach kids how to draw and comics stuff too. About 2 hours ago,
Nice.
and I've been just working on comics, hanging out, finishing up commissions as well.
Nice.
Good, busy.
You had the Sewer Boys. Pages,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I could show the spread that I have.
Hell
Can I
yeah.
show that right now?
Yeah,
that one's fun because I did a whole different process for it. There you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I've used a what's the I do. So I'm trying to avoid using actual film screen tones now.
Yeah.
Because I started to realize I don't really like the sheen that it has on paper.
Yeah.
So it just bothers me. And I've been trying to look for different options too. I looked at one stencil which I used for this one in the background, and I've also used stamps, pretty good one. So far that's the ones that have been working, but this is the best one I've gotten for this. So this one I did I masked it with a Frisket film. So that took a long time because I had to do all each letters and then all the figures, and it's just relaxing and just cutting it with a blade, and it's very easy. But then when I got to this point to where like, oh, I've never done this before. And so I started using the airbrush. I was like, okay, hopefully this works. And then we got to the point where I had to peel off the masking, and I saw, oh, it works. It worked. It's good. And so in the remix pages too, because there's like two versions of this in the original. I think the reprint had the screen tones in the background.
Yeah.
And the original had the screen, like the duotone thing. They had it on the actual figures. So I went for the newer version because I like them popping out more because they're a lot more. And there's something in the background going on, but they have this kind of God rays happening in the back. So I wanted to just use white ink over that when I was doing the masking thing, and I didn't know how that's gonna look like, but I think it's good because when I scanned it, it looked great. In the end, the scan is what I'm looking for.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
This was fun. So I think I was really proud of this when I finished it.
So I'm scared to open my mouth. Yep, there it goes.
There you go, Victor.
Still not working, guys. Sorry.
Can you hear us okay now, Victor?
He hopped off. Yeah, I don't know. Wow. Hopefully he might just have to come on audio free, and we'll ask him questions in the thing. But so did you, for this project, did you guys get each assigned some pages?
Yeah, so Erwin is pretty much like the guy in charge of it, and it's the Ink and Drink group of Long Beach. They have a physical group, but also the Discord group is very big, and we're all over the world and over the country. But Erwin's the one really in charge of it, and the way we did it is, I believe there's 40 something pages, and each person had 2 pages. So mine, I was given a spread, and it was random. We did like a random generator, so people just got whatever. And you're free to do whatever you want with it. Either you kind of just draw it in your own style or change it up, right? To like you do different characters in place of the turtles, or make him realistic turtles. So that's the fun of the whole thing. And there's also going to be doubles. I think was just the appeal of it, because Erwin also did the spread page like this, but the characters are different.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, I just posted a link to the kind of like the pre-sign up thing for the Kickstarter. I'm not sure.
Pre-launch.
The pre-launch. Do you know when it goes live?
I believe somewhere in the middle of August.
Okay.
Or next week, one of those. Because I know we pretty much got all the assigned pages. We were just getting like the pinups, the extra stuff. So it's been really exciting seeing everyone's work.
Hey, Victor.
Oh boy, guys, I'm sorry. This is not a good color on me, but technology is very frustrating. Very frustrating matter for me. Because might see me blow up here today.
You're good, Victor. I think you can just draw.
Give me
And
another
you're
minute here
good.
to figure this out.
I'll just I think you can hear us. So are you guys with that like with you have the actual title spread, what are you guys allowed to do? It's just your interpretation. I just wasn't sure
pretty
on that.
much. Because I mean, we've seen like other remix books before of just recreating certain things. And we wanted to have the freedom instead of thinking about storytelling. We just wanted the art to be the main thing, right? Because everyone knows TMNT number one, and so but we have so much voices in the art, and so Erwin pretty much just said, at least the main pages, assigned pages, kind of stick with the composition, so it's at least recognizable. But we were given freedom to do other 2 pages to do pretty much whatever we want.
Okay.
I think JG is here. He did Galactus with the turtles in there. So that was so that you can do something like that. So it's we made it really fun for each other and just do whatever. And so let the art do itself. And
that's gonna be a killer
it is.
crowd fund. That because I haven't really seen. I've only seen snippets of what's coming out. But some awesome names.
We had Al Gofa signed up too. So I think he was doing the Orc Gym at that time, and he kind of get into the group as well. And he signed up to do pages, so he has 2 pages that he did.
Nice. I was trying to do some perusing to see if I could find Al's pages somewhere to see if he had any snippets, but I couldn't find anything.
Nah, mostly everyone's secretive. I kind of just shared it just to boost the Kickstarter a bit. I think Erwin was fine with it too, so in my mind. And we're live here. People here come in, only see it, but I won't publicize it too much.
No, it's good. Get some. I know the last few weeks, and we've had some people reach out about these pages. Get some momentum. You still got some time. Talking to some guys who've had and I'm sure everyone knows what he's doing, but I just, talking to some other guys, it's all about the preemptive stuff, all the work you can do before the actual launch and all the promo before the actual launch is huge. Hey, Victor.
I don't hear them.
This project has been going on for, I think, since I would say March, April. One of those two. That's when we first started it. Yeah, so we had like one big call, but everyone just said we're gonna do this. And because they did the Rhino Juggy book. It was like they made their own kind of bootleg Rhino and Juggernaut comic.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the same thing, but it wasn't a remix book.
It's a test.
It's done.
And so we did the remix.
With that Rhino Juggy one, I'd only seen pictures of that. That wasn't a crowdfund or anything, was it?
It was too, as well.
Oh, it was.
It was a Kickstarter. I joined that group by the end of that Kickstarter, so it wasn't. I only got to do one pinup, and but everyone else that I knew, Erwin, of course, was spearheading it too. Still, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's excellent.
It is.
So I guess you're done your part of it.
I have more. Like I just have to finish inking them. So I have 2 pinups, and I'm thinking just doing one more remix page for fun. Awesome. Erwin gave me, because like the important things is this. Like this is the main stuff that we have to turn in.
Yeah.
And then but other than that, like I can just turn in whatever to Erwin for this 2 weeks, and then he'll keep it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
It is. I'm very excited. It's TMNT. I take the chance to draw them when I can.
Well, yeah. Well, you guys we talked extensively last week kind of about the turtles and, Victor's love for them, my love for them. You guys are really, scratching an itch. In saying that, have you been to the new one yet?
The movie? No, not
Yeah.
yet. Not yet. I want to, but I haven't had time because it's been so much work. Or just doing drawing, but I've been getting an itch. I wanted to watch Oppenheimer too, and also the new Turtles movie, but I'm just missing things out. I don't want to wait till they're on, my TV screen or something.
Yeah, I agree. I've kind of been promising my son that we'd go because the beauty about this, kind of like with Spider-Verse too, it's something I really like. Like I will get as much of a kick out of it as my 6-year-old. If my 6-year-old didn't come with me, I would still go.
Exactly. That's when a movie is just good on its own. You can't give that excuse of like, oh, it's made for kids. No, it's just a good movie.
He is asking Barbie anyone. Well, we talked about that last week, and Victor gave Barbie a ringing endorsement. So
yeah, Barbie was great. I enjoyed it. I think it was pretty funny. I think Ryan Gosling really stole that movie for me, honestly. And I always just enjoy his movies, and it's just that meme of the people just relating to his characters.
Yeah.
The male crowd. It's just pretty funny.
That's what I keep hearing, that he's kind of a show stealer. I mean, yeah, I want to see it. But I mean, the Turtles are out, so it's kind of
choose. Pick and choose. Yeah, let's see. But yeah, I'm doing more pages of this, and yeah, hoping to get it out there. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, this is huge. I talk about heroes, and seeing some of the Hugh Marks pages, looking through your work, reading Space Knights for the first time, seeing some of the commissions you guys are doing, and then you followed up. You're going to be working on Space Knights number 2.
Yeah,
is
it? Yeah,
right in front of us.
This was I'm penciling the title page for one of them stories. So my process have changed a lot since the first book.
Yeah,
because that first book I did 3 years ago, and then I had the Tales of Space Knights, which I did a year ago, and that one's been the first time I did pencils digitally.
Yeah,
I have the advantage of digital tools, but I do traditional inks.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like I could show you the way the turtles look like in pencils.
Yeah.
And so I show how I kind of put that together. So these like blue lines are meant to be the guide for me for the white airbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how it looks like when I pencil it when it's done, and then I print it out very light. It's like 15 to 18 opacity. Yeah, and I use red because a scanner, not a scanner, in Photoshop, it's a lot easier to remove red than blue because sometimes my ink looks like blue.
Yeah.
And so it takes away from that. Try not to put that there too. But yeah.
The switch was just kind of an efficiency thing.
It is. And also just a lot more control on what I want, because there's moments when I would be penciling something by hand, and I mostly in comics, I would just say, I'm not too happy with that, but I don't have time. So I just let it go, but that itch stays. So now with digital, I can always fix it easily. I don't have to, let's say I don't like the way this eye looks. If it was in digital, with pencil, I have to erase it.
Yeah.
If it was digital, I can just like grab it. Like, oh, I want to move it more to the left or something, like on the wrong layer. But it's just that this lasso tool for me has been a lot more helpful. Like I can do this.
Yeah, nice.
Fixing that. So instead of just erasing over and over again, and I use like pretty expensive Bristol paper, and so I don't want to just ruin that with erasing so much. And I erase a lot because I'm always indecisive with like the way I do my lines with penciling. It's a lot of just designing the way I approach it. But yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So Space Knights number 2. Another oversized like trade size book.
It's gonna be the regular trade size, pretty much like the first one.
Like the first one,
yeah. But because this one that I have here, it's pretty much sold out, is pretty much I a thing I just wanted to do for myself
Yeah.
because I love magazine size, European comics, and that's something I just want to do. And someone told me I should do a black and white book after the first book, and so I set out to, instead of just making the first book black and white, like I want to make a book that's actually black and white. I draw it to be black and white, so that's what this is. And I did the 3-page spread in here, which is one of my favorite things about this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have this, and then I have the open here goes out. So I had full total creative control over this whole book, and Eli, my publisher, just told me, just do whatever you want, we'll make it happen. And so yeah, but I wish I did the original line of Space Knights this size because it works really well. So I'm kind of just like with the straight sizes, it works well with bookshelves, but if I had a choice, I'll go to the larger size.
So for the Space Knights 2, are you going to the magazine size or keeping with the?
No, I'm keeping with the trade because it's easier to collect them that way after.
Yeah.
Because and so it's just weird when you start doing different sizes of pages because this ratio is 9:12. It doesn't match the same size. It's off.
Yeah.
A bit wider, so I can't even do this in the collection if I wanted to. So I'm still gonna do like this size of comics. It's more of me to explore some medium style, like so like next one I'm gonna do is full traditional colors. I'm gonna use my because I do a lot of airbrush and markers now and stuff too, watercolors.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to do as a full comic, But that's not gonna be like Alex Ross, like realistic paintings. It's just I do everything by hand. It's kind of what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
We got Victor hop back on. He can't hear us, but well, I don't know if he can hear us. Give us a thumbs up, Victor. We're having some. He can hear us, so yeah.
Awesome.
We better start bad mouthing him, or stop bad mouthing him, rather. That's awesome. And then you were working on some commissions too, Kev?
Yeah, I got another TMNT commission, which is still in progress. I can show it. This is what I'm going to put into the book as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so let me show that. This one. Still working it out with the perspective.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to zoom in more with the image like this size instead of being out, because the thing with when I'm working digitally, you can zoom in like this, but when you print it out, they're like this small. So so I want to make sure that I remind myself this is just a 11x17 paper, which is to me is getting pretty small. And so that's what's cool about digital is that you can do something like that to where you can just blow up the whole image, right?
Yeah.
See, instead of just redrawing everything from the start. And this becomes a very proficient thing to where I can just do this, like, oh, now it looks better or something,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. I have like some of the other commissions I finished. I just haven't posted. I have a Weapon X one coming up. This is the thumbnail.
Oh, beautiful.
And then I have a lot of thumbnails here. I have a Judge Dredd one, and it's gonna be with the Akira Clown Gang.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do this with just a chase scene with the bikes, and then just broken bikes everywhere, helmets.
Was that a specific request, or is that just the direction you wanted to go with?
He told me most of my requests are always just say draw Judge Dredd, draw doing whatever, and then I try to see like, oh, how can I make this like a bit different than what usually what you see in most commissions, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've tried to put in something that I love. I love Judge Dredd, but I also love Akira, and they kind of share that same space of dystopian future. So I was like, oh, I can try to blend it in here. So that's how I usually approach commissions. But of course, I asked the commissioner, like the client, like, oh, can I do this? What do you think about this? And then they usually say yes. There's never been a resistance to that. And where's the one I'm really excited about too? This one right here. Let's see. This one right here. This one is a very tiny thumbnail, but his Cosmic Ghost Rider and Null and his dragon.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so I'm having Ghost Rider with his chains holding down the dragon, and then he's gonna attack him. So this is gonna be something very exciting for me to do. I'm hoping to get this done next week. So yeah.
Wow.
I have a lot more, but they're all here. So I'm scared that if my iPad ever dies, I lose all of this. Lose all the pencils. And so just nice to see what I've done. But
well, I know our wonderful following with Inky Knuckles is really eager for both you and Victor to reopen the commissions when you get through that.
Yeah, trying to finish what I have right now, so I can just focus on what we have coming up.
Making books, and speaking of Victor, he's working through a cable commission. I don't know who it's for. That these were pre us. If I had to guess,
awesome.
I would say Oranga because he always commissions cable. But did he? Yeah, he got a cable from you, didn't he?
Yeah, he got pretty much two. I have the pencils here. I did the Ghost Rider for him, the Ghost Riding cable, which is this one. I just have the pencils. I'll just show that. Here, where are you? Here you go. I did this for him.
Yeah.
So this is the first one he ever did, and then I did for Heroes. I got him the X-Men, X-Force homage to X-Men #1.
Oh, it's Strife as Magneto.
Yeah. So this is the one because we were doing the first one together, and he asked me, "Oh, you want to do Cable or Ghost Rider?" I was like, "Why not both?" I was like, "Okay, let's do that." And then I had this idea because I was doing something with Strife, and then it came up to my mind like, "Oh, what if I do like X-Men #1 but X-Force?" And then we made that to a thing for Heroes Con to do. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that piece. I love those.
It was pretty challenging because it's like I think it's a 5-page spread, right? The original.
Yeah.
So I had to condense everything to 2-page spread. So I pretty much cut off one part which Professor Xavier would be back here.
Yeah.
Just have which is all we need. It worked out, and it was pretty fun. It's crazy to ink because I inked it pretty fast too. I just went at it.
So that one was a double pager, but the Cable Ghost Rider one, was that just 11x17?
Yep, 11x17. Okay. That one's really. I think that was when I started using more hatching instead of screen tones in my work because I've been trying to get like that weird grayscale, right?
Yeah.
I've done hatching before in the past, but never been so comfortable with it. I was very heavy-handed with it, but now I use these like dried microns, so I get these like really dry marks, which I can show. I have some ink pages from Space Knights #2.
Oh yeah,
I think I show you this in the show too. So this is the cover.
Awesome. Yeah.
So this is very Napoleon inspired.
Yeah.
One apart. So I love wearing horses. Every time I can have a chance to do that, I'll do that. And I love muscular like horses where they're just like very comic book muscles and just pretty fun.
Yeah, I love that piece.
Got these ones too. So this is like introduction part where I put like the year of the book, and very Mignola-esque because I love Lovecraftian, I love Mignola. So just kind of a homage to that. And I like to put this kind of the climate of the universe of Space Knights, where you have these Lovecraftian creatures, but you have knights or war. And then this is the very first page of the prologue. So this is what I meant by like the hatching.
Yeah.
But I also hatch with white, white pens, or I use pesto pens too. I use them. I use Oscar markers. So I use all kinds of stuff to work with black and white. Because when you're inking, I feel like white is not utilized as much.
Yeah.
Because you can always go back at it. It's like using white paint. I use like white gouache sometimes. But yeah.
Well, I think it was Adam Gorham was telling me.
Yeah.
He kind of did like that, dried out micron thing as a like rendering technique, and he said he started doing that because I think it was Dave Johnson told him about that randomly in conversation once. So yeah, I always look for it now on his pages just because it's kind of a cool.
Yeah, for me, I did it by accident because I don't like to throw away microns that are there's still ink in them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
destroyed the tip. And so, but then one time I just didn't have any tools with me, so I just used it on my sketchbook. I started realizing that because my sketchbook has like this porous finish to it, like in the paper, so it
Yeah.
kind of dry brushes around it. And the same thing with my Bristol. They're it's like 500 series Strathmore, but it's vellum, so it
Uh,
is kind of texture like. So it does really well with dry brushing and also like that dry micron marks. And yeah, it's like I can get these kind of marks here. It's like the little dry brush there, and it's been making inking fun for me, and it's a lot. It's just you just go in it, just do your job, and yeah, and then
wow.
it's a glare. But so this opening sequence is pretty much space pirates, um, but they haven't have a dragon, and so it makes it just. I just like to draw fun things and what I enjoy telling stories of and what I want to read, for my own comics, and I make it. And I do everything by hand, like even lettering. All these are done by hand, and so
So did you was that you talked to Victor about that last week, and
mhm.
he's got plans for Hugh Marks and talk about dream jobs, and he kind of said my dream job, and I'm paraphrasing you, Victor, but continuing to do Hugh Marks, is that kind of how you feel about Space Nights, like
Yeah, this
just
is like it's gonna be a long thing I want to do and I just want to keep working on. But it is. Of course, I'm doing commissions and I'm doing my teaching job on top of it. So, but this is I think the way I think of it is my milestone work. So my commissions are showing my skills from here and there, but having a big book full of illustrations of like showing my storytelling just shows where I am as an artist and a storyteller.
yeah,
And so that's what I aim for every year, is to at least finish one book, because it gives me a mark. Okay, this is how good I am, because my last, like, that's how I'm defined, as by my last work. So right now, my last work that's out is this, which is a year old,
yeah,
and I've improved so much from this book, and this is where I am, but I can't show this yet to the world. So that's actually giving me an itch inside me to get it done.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this one I want to keep doing Space Nights until I can't. But I do have other stories planned, and I'm working with other people too for the past like 2 years now. We just can't announce much yet, but yeah. But I just want to do comics, and I want to do fun things.
If
Makes me want to draw.
what if the big two came knocking for a project, would that be something you'd
Mhm.
be eager to do, or
I would say, I mean, can't knock it down, because it does pay and it does help, me being seen. But sequentials, I think that's where I really think about it, because
yeah,
I'm very I like to explore a lot of things and play around with things, and I don't like being hindered. Not saying editors are bad. It's just that I tend to work better alone when I'm doing sequential storytelling.
yeah,
You know? Yeah. So, but when it comes to covers, that's something I definitely want to do. I think I've been very interested in doing that, because I treat them like commissions, and I draw my commissions like cover work. Um, so having like an epic scene and just showing you something cool.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
No, yeah, I'm always just kind of curious, without not shitting on big two or
Hmm.
collaborative efforts. I'm always curious what motivates people, because even you talk to some like uh, legendary big two level artists, and even kind of what their desires are almost kind of surprises you sometimes too. What
Yeah.
they want to tackle. So, and
I think sometimes it goes to like necessity for like what your career, because
yeah,
sometimes not everyone reads independent comics,
yeah,
and sometimes you only blow up when you do some Marvel or DC thing,
yeah,
and yeah, and that can help your indie career, because now they like your work and they see your other work. So I
yeah,
think that's kind of where my brain tells me like you should probably do something if it does come in your plate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It buys you the freedom to do more of the projects you want to do, kind of thing. And I just
Yeah.
find, and I don't know what it is, and I was just thinking about this the other day. I've been drawn to so many indie things, and even some of the other stuff. I'm trying to um, just drawn to a lot more indie stuff that's
Mhm.
kind of art focused and a lot of writer artist stuff. I've been reading Usagi, just that singular vision. I don't know what it is about that I
Yeah.
enjoy so much more these days. Um, and it has nothing to do with anything. It's just that's kind of where I'm naturally drawn to right now. And I guess, I get to work with you guys, so that's probably part of it.
Mhm.
I constantly drawn to seeing what you guys are doing, hearing
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel the same way. I always gravitate towards indie books. I think most of my shelf is just indie books. Things either Image, the Dark Horse, and some self-published stuff, and there's a few Marvel stuff there, which is mostly Daredevil, but
yeah, yeah,
then Batman's. But that's about it, and then everything else is just whatever people are passionate about. And I enjoy reading those because you can tell, like U-Marks. Like I just recently got U-Marks right now, and you can just tell that this has passion. This is a singular vision. They wanted to do something that they wanted. This is not money driven or anything. This
yeah.
is something that an artist wanted to make, and you enjoy reading that, and yeah,
No, absolutely.
there's
Absolutely.
more. Like if I think if I were to do big two comics, and I don't think an editor would allow to do something like this, to where I
Yeah,
just have big spread of just few words and but showing a bunch of random characters around there. But to me, this is illustration, the kind of approach to comics, and I love this.
yeah.
And this is akin to like European, mostly French, like Droulet. The way he does his spreads is something I really love. Just like big scale images and just tons of characters, and mostly when these are grunts, they don't really matter, but they have some unique design. So I put in that effort to make them each different in their own ways. And these are, they're fun to draw. And I think in the end of it, it's just whatever I'm enjoying, because I'm going to be spending hours with these guys. I'm going to make sure I enjoy their company. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Marvin was asking if there are any specific established characters that you'd like to work
Yeah.
with.
So I've been planning. I've been writing down some stuff about this. I don't usually wait till I get like a job or something to do something I want. I've been planning to do a bootleg comic about Big Barda versus Granny Goodness because I really love New Gods, Fourth World characters. But Big Barda has always been my one of my favorites, and you can kind of see that with the character I have here for her. She's inspired by Big Barda, the way she's designed.
Yeah.
So she's the one I would say, and I love drawing just New Gods characters a lot. And I love Jack Kirby. Yeah, and then TMNT is fun to draw as well. And that's something I think I would be open to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely feel I feel like your style is all your own, but I feel the new God's influence
Mhm.
in your
I
work.
mean, the Kirby dots and the stuff.
Hey, can you
That
guys hear me now?
I can hear you, Victor.
Yep, we can hear
Oh,
you.
wow. I can be part of the conversation now.
I'm trying to figure out a way to take my face off the screen so we can just see you two.
You that cable's looking so good.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
when I
Well,
saw the perspective
you,
you did, I was like, God dang it, man.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's so good. Like the way you did Sentinel just laying down this skewed perspective and that
Yeah,
angle.
it's supposed to kind of be like super top down, like this
Mm-hmm.
is the street below them and stuff. So he's like falling back. I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought it would look cool, but it is actually really hard to explain. I feel like I need like pages before it to set up the context.
Yeah, have you gotten so used to sequential
Yeah,
artwork?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like telling stories in my commissions now. It's like, oh god damn it. Uh, but it's like you were talking about just a second ago, Kevin. Like I just like want to draw stuff that I like, that I think is cool. and I don't know. People seem
Yeah,
to be enjoying it, and I'm just like keeping my head down and doing more of it.
I think that's the what made me feel good about doing that is like I remember when I was working on the first book, and there's a moment where I said, "No one's gonna read this," but I said to myself, "But I like it. I love this.
Yeah,
And if there's another person that likes it too, there's two of us now, you know. But I'm doing this just for me, so it doesn't matter in the end of it. At least for my goal as an artist, that I'm just doing what I want, and if people like it and love it, that's a bonus. You know, that's awesome.
yeah,
And dude, like you, Newmarks just blew up on that scale of like when I first saw it, it was mind blown. And you just asked me to do a pinup for you. I was like, what? You want me to do what? And so,
yeah. I mean, like, look
yeah,
at your stuff. It's incredible.
thanks, man.
I really appreciate everyone that showed up. I saw Raymar in the chat, and yeah, it was a great experience. And like the whole reasoning behind having so many people uh, be in the book was just like I felt like it had taken me so long to get there that I wanted to just make it as bombastic and like gigantic
Mhm.
as possible. And I don't know, it just ended up working out. I
Yeah.
feel really good about the book. Everybody who has um, you know commented on it directly to me has been nothing but like super kind, words that I like. I have trouble expressing in a cool and smooth way how that makes me feel. It makes me feel really emotional and really happy that I'm doing like what I feel like I'm meant to be doing. Um, I don't know. It feels really good,
Yeah,
but it's
man.
hard. It's hard to take compliments like the ones you're throwing out about my book. But I
Mhm.
do really appreciate everyone who has like supported me and Kevin. I know that like I saw Space Knights, and the first thing I did was hit the buy button. Like as soon as I had some money to do so, I was like there in a heartbeat. Um, I was glad I was able to still grab a copy of the preview
Oh,
to
the
issue
special.
one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the yellow one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, I love supporting art, and now you did a piece for my book. I hope to God I get to do a Space Knights piece for yours
Oh
before
yeah.
my head explodes um, from all this perspective work I'm doing. Uh, but yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, and Cam was talking about opening up the list. I'm like working so hard to get that going,
Yeah.
um, like soon. I think I'd like to even try opening a list while I'm working on the last commission I have left to do, because I'll be able to get it done pretty quickly, and then by the time I'm done, maybe people will already have theirs lined up.
Yep.
So
No, I think you're right. And well, then maybe that's what we can do next is the crossover. The pinup's already been done. So Hugh Mark's Space Knights crossover time, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically,
I think
what
that's
are
what's
we
cool about
waiting
Hugh
for?
Marks is when I asked you to do the pinup, I asked you some questions, but I kind of just read the book from the Dropbox you sent me with the pencils, and I've always stared at that work before it was even out. And I was lucky to do so too. But I started noticing that not spoiling much of the story, but you can pretty much do whatever you want with them, you know, because of the situation they're in.
Because I'm so
Uh,
good. Oh, because of the situation. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
I mean
Yeah.
that too, but so I was like, can I draw this? I can show it. I got Hugh Marks today actually came in, and so
Well, there it
I was
is.
so excited. Yeah, there it is. So I did this piece, and I just told him, can I do like a celestial type god, but he's just corrupted by this Lovecraftian thing inside him, and it's just eating like these little people,
Hey,
and
I'll
then
do you
stuck in
guys
the
one
ground.
better. I've got here all the let me close my inkwell before I make a fucking mess. Uh got most of the commissions for the book here in person.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
That's gonna be a treat.
So,
Oh, you got what's his name?
James Edward Clark. This is
Yep.
Ryan Alves did these. These super like these sketch pages that he threw together with his his original idea. Like I guess these were like the sketchbook pages he used to come up with his idea. So he was like doodling the hue marks and like this is literally basically the first drawing I ever did of Jack. Like he basically took the description that I made. Like I don't know if he did or not, but basically that was it. Like if there was a table flipped over and him shooting the guns over the table, that's basically the first drawing I ever did of him. But anyway, his actual pieces are in here too. I'll show you those. But this is James Edward Clark. This is pretty cool.
yeah.
He did this, and then he was like, "Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Why didn't I make them hammers?" So if you notice in the book, he actually digitally made them hammers, and this is actually like a piece of paper. Like this is a separate piece that like he did them separately so that John is like a full drawing, and then he just he put Jack over the top, and then the first sketch or another sketch he did, he just covered the back with just for funsies.
It's like a postcard.
Like this. I mean, we didn't have the room for, unfortunately, this piece and a few others, and like Cork and a few other people couldn't fit in the book. But like, this is fucking nuts to me. Jamie Jones, a local friend of ours, his piece is in here. While I have friends come over and we hang out and draw, and this was Mike Becker and John Golden. They're both in the book. These are some sketches they did. This is my drawing. I kept this because this is the one piece I wanted to keep.
Awesome.
This is Ryan Alves. This is one of his that didn't make it into the book, but this is the first Hugh Marks like fan art he did. It's like a Miami Vice vibe.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. If you go to his Instagram, you can see a colorized version that he did. It's very cool. Alvestagram. This is another by Mike Becker. Mike Becker does nothing but draw all day long, so he's just like vomiting art all the time.
Logo.
Yeah, he did the logo. Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. This is a sneak peek at a cover I'm gonna do. This is very old art. I was just kind of like trying to keep things organized. But hey, look at this!
Look at that, nice and sealed by me.
Wow.
Look at this!
That's outstanding.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's always
every gritty detail. It's so good. It's so good. Check this out.
Yeah, look at that.
Double page spread by Ryan Alves. Again, this guy
He loves you.
Another beast. This is like all of these are going to end up on my wall.
You're just gonna have a Hugh Marks wall. That's so cool.
Mike Becker,
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
John Golden. This one is hysterical. These are my homies in town.
I love how big he is.
Yeah,
Just made
it's
him more-
fantastic.
Yeah.
Joey Navarra. Very cool piece. Love the ink on this. It looks so cool. This is one by me. And this is Bill Hewitt. This is the first Hugh Marks fan art I ever got sent in the mail. Like
Those are always special.
he drew this. This is like when he read my minis and did this.
Awesome.
Like I didn't even have the book out yet. Like He did this like a year and a half ago. It's so good. I love it. It's probably my favorite just because of that. Like,
It's your first.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's like
I know the feeling. I have
you're
the feeling.
always gonna remember. You're always gonna remember
Yeah.
your first.
And the thing is, like,
Um,
you didn't pay them to do that. They just did it.
no, I did it. He
Yeah.
literally just sent it to me. This is the
Yeah.
box he sent it to me in. Now I keep all of my Humarks art in there.
That's awesome, Victor.
Yeah, it's this whole experience has been like you work on something for a really long time and you don't know if it's going to work out,
Yeah.
and you really don't know if you're going to have to just like buck up and like you know do something else forever, because like otherwise you won't eat. And you know I am truly blessed that like this book is going the way that it is, that Cam deems me worthy to be in the stable with people like you and everybody else. And it's like it's all working out, man. I don't know. There's no other way to really paint it, but rosy. Um, I just can't wait to do more, because like this
Hmm.
is just this experience of making this book was like my boot camp for myself to make comics. The
Yeah.
story that I'm telling right now is not even the story that I've been thinking of for all of these years. It was just like my uh, launch pad, basically. Like the aspect of being in the simulation was like you said, Kevin. Like I can do anything. It doesn't matter. Like that,
Hmm.
just giving myself that like no restriction kind of freedom really like uh, opened up the barn door, so to speak. Like I really had the whole field to myself to just run around and go nuts. And like I know exactly what I'm going to do next, like how I'm going to end it. And if you have my minis, you know as well how I plan to end this chapter. But then like basically after that is everything that I've been mulling over for the last decade and a half, that takes place in like the real world, so to speak, of the Hugh Marks. And so I've got so what I'm trying to say is I've got so much in the tank, and I'm just getting started. And
Exciting. That's
I
what it is.
yeah I'm just like I can't wait to do more, because like I'm not done, you know.
I think that's
And
that fever. I mean, I've experienced the same
yeah,
thing with the issue 2, Space Knights, is that you look at your first work, right? And you have that itch of, I'm better than this now and I can do so much more at
mm-hmm,
each moment. And you just can't wait to show what you got for the story, but also your art. And you
yeah.
can both. Yeah.
What
Like
is
that's,
Uh, yeah.
oh, go ahead, Cam.
well, no, I was just curious, Kevin, because you talked about how hue marks can kind of go in any direction. Do you feel like you wouldn't be, restrained, but do you feel like with the world you've built that there are just a lot of rules in Space Knights relative to hue marks? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah. So I think for me, I made rules that I'm comfortable with, So the premise of when I first started the whole thing is because I made this fantasy story when I was in college, but it was always compared to Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, right? Every time I talked about it, so I really hated that. But I started into like retro space aesthetic of like 1950s pulp science fiction, and I started loving that feel of just kind of campy, weird, space ball, like glass ball helmet kind of thing. And I was like, oh, what if I do the Knights in space instead? Like this fantasy story takes place in space. And the first rule I made was, how am I gonna make that work with the suits? And it's pretty much just regular medieval knights, but they have tubes on them. That's the only like
Just add
design
tubes,
rule.
man.
Yeah,
Just
that was
fucking
it.
add
Like
tubes.
this
That's
is
all you got to
exactly like,
do.
yeah, this is like a regular knight, but I just added tubes on him. And now it's space. And then there's a little tech thing here, maybe some guns just to add to that.
Yeah.
And it just exploded to like, oh, I can do so much more with this now. And so even just having that little rule just to make it work gave me so much possibilities combining fantasy and kind of sci-fi.
Yep.
But in terms of like world building rules, like storytelling, it doesn't really hinder me in the way that, because it's pretty much in the end, it's just I made a world, and the world can have different genres.
Yep.
So with this one, this is pretty much a very dark comic. It's about mercenary and this squire and then a cult hunter, and it's very Lovecraftian. It's very dark. You can kind of see the mood of it. It's a lot of rain. Um, and so this is something that's very different from the first book, where it's very colorful. So this one is just full of color, but it's war, and there's something about buddy cop stories, gladiators. So I can get a different taste for every story I do for Space Knights, but it's still the same world. And so I don't know if that answers the question a bit, but I do feel freedom within it, even though there's some rules.
Yeah. What?
I mean, you are the rule maker.
I am.
So
I can always break it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one of the first ones I broke was the dragon, because they don't breathe in space, but they're in space. So they're flying in space right now, and that
They do now.
They do now. Like it's pretty cool, And I have horses here, and before that wasn't going to be a thing because I was just gonna have vehicles, but I was taking a lift to school at that time, and the guy was just asking me about what I do, and so I'm working on this comic called Space Knights. I was like, oh, cool. Do they have like horses in space? In cavalry? I'm like, they do now. And so that spread page of that big spread of the horses in the first book, that's because of that driver.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that can happen to where I can just put something in, be cool. And that scene where, I don't know if anyone read the book of Space Knights, but this one right here, I show it with Vurag. This kind of became a popular character. He's the elephant guy.
Yeah, I love that.
I was gonna do characters where there's this beastman kind of thing where it's half human, half animals, and this is gonna be someone small, but I went something bigger and just weird. And I think that's the goal for Space Knights, is something interesting. It's weird. It's something that you don't really see much around. That's why I do. That's what drives me to do this comic, is I can able.
Hey,
to
Marvin, thank you so much. Yo, fucking Matthew Allison's drawing of that character. What the hell?
Yeah, have it on my wall. It's gonna be the back cover for the second issue.
Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. And
so
much.
If
everything.
If I sell, like, once we get to issue 2 or whatever, if I run out of books, whatever happens, whenever I start printing second prints, so to speak, I'm going to use Marcus Cripps' pinup in the back of the book as the variant cover.
Awesome. Here's more. Slowly showing everyone what's going on. But this.
Yeah, I'm stuck staring at it. Sorry guys, I should be drawing, but look at this fucking smiley star over here.
I know. So I can do stuff like this because I love cartoons. I grew up with kind of 1930s black and white cartoons because my dad was an animator, so he would show me some of that. And then I grew up with Hanna-Barbera. Just that very cartoony feel with kind of real, not realistic, but this kind of realm of style. It stares at you, and it's really fun to draw when you have something like this going on, where there's burning bodies and stuff. But that's what I meant by fun. I can do this. It's. I don't get tired of doing this, and I can do it page by page. But yeah. And this is the prologue sequence of the second book. So that's the cool thing about Space Knight, is that I formed it to where every issue is pretty much a trade, so you're gonna get a lot. It's 3 stories in there, but there's a 4th story, which is the opening sequence. Like this one is the prologue sequence of the book. It's just meant to just introduce you to the world, at least the first book, of what it is, of just the feeling. And this one is to just get the energy going, because you don't want to be waiting till the action starts. I just show you a sequence of space pirates attacking a cruise ship full of rich people, that's been like exploiting everyone. So it's fun. It's short, and now you're excited for the rest of the book afterwards. But yeah, you can definitely see the big Barda influence on her.
Wow.
I'm very proud of to say, because I do love her design. Love
Count
Jack
Count
Darby.
Pagan is inspired by me. I won't speak for you, Kevin, but that's pretty wild for me. He is so good. What are you talking about? You inspire me. Go to
Oh
bed.
man, go to bed. Hey, you guys go to bed. I'm earlier here. Yeah, and this is the title page, which gets the book started, and that's where your 3 stories are.
No, that's great. How many pages are you away from completion on that one, Kev?
I've been penciling and thumbnailing a lot because when I ink, I like to ink batches. So when I finish the prologue, I just ink the whole thing right away.
Yeah.
So right now I'm finishing the Cult Hunters, which I've thumbnailed and penciled a couple pages. I bounce around because I don't like to just stay on one thing at a time because I like to just feel excited. But sometimes a page will just be finished right away. So right now I think I'm about 74 pages with some of the thumbnails and pencils together.
Wow.
Yeah, but the ink ones is pretty much what I got inked so far because I ink pretty fast when it comes to it. I can ink. I think the most I've inked in a day was 8, and I stayed up all night. So that was with the Tales of Space Knights, like this whole sequence, and from here, let's see, yeah, from pretty much these pages all the way to the end, I penciled within 2 days, I inked within 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I like to do little batches here and there because I don't because I work digital. I don't like bouncing back and forth. Like digital, then I go back to paper, digital. Like I like to do just digital a lot and then just ink for a whole week or so.
Yeah.
I'm just getting pages done. But yeah, I'm very
Oh,
excited for this, and it's something that's been itching me so much. So here's I was using stamps too with some of the screen tone kind of patterns.
yeah.
And I go back with white just to cover up some that like I don't really like that there, but yeah. Splatter is my friend. I use it a lot.
Use much for screen tones and
What was that, Cam?
on the Space Knights inks and stuff. Did you use much for screen tones on those pages?
I did digital pages. I did digital screen tones on the first book.
Right.
In the Tales, I don't think I never used actual screen tones on the pages. I have some, but I just never really put it on. But I mean, I have it like on these.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
digital. This is all digital. So the scan, when you see it, Inky Knuckles page, you will see just without screen tones.
The raw scans. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But this one, I was like, you can kind of see it here where I was kind of playing around with that dry hatching with microns already, and so this is pretty much like this book was actually made for me to really get comfortable where I'm at, like what direction I'm gonna go to, because I did start issue 2 right after the first book, but I wasn't very happy where I was, and so I wanted to do something short to where I can just experiment with it. So I was using a lot of ink wash and so on, like
Oh,
this,
that's
like this
awesome.
cape. You won't see this in issue 1,
Yeah.
but I did this in the Tales, so this kind of fur, and I've been a lot more working on my process with this book, and I grew a lot from this book, and then now I'm drawing like this. It's very different from this book.
Yeah. Oh no, that's beautiful. Speaking of screen tones, Victor, do you have any insane ideas for screen tones on this piece, like you did for the Lone Wolf and Cub?
Yeah, unfortunately for me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the Sentinel in screen tone because it does a really good job of like dropping things back.
Yeah,
Um, so I think I'm going to render a lot of the Sentinel, and then I'll put like a whole sheet down and just like cut him out of it basically, and just use. I think I'm just going to use one big sheet to describe the whole thing and scratch out parts that I need. Um, but yeah, I do want to continue making like screen tone a a part of what I do because it's like it's really fun coming up with creative ways to use weird patterns and stuff. Um, but it also is just like very effective visually. Like you put a screen tone down and you cut out the right piece, and it's like, oh shit, that's like elevated now
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
visually. So it does a lot for very little. Just taking the time to cut it out, basically. So I don't know how to effectively do that, like physically in my page work, to where I can like do a whole book with physical screen tones, but in my commission work, I definitely want to do it like as often as possible.
The whole book sounds expensive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like
it's just expensive.
you would need to be given a hefty
But a screen
donation
tone
of
budget.
screen tones. Yeah,
Yeah, with screen tone budget in your book.
yeah, exactly. The next Kickstarter goal is going to be $10,000 because I need to buy all the screen tones first.
It's 80% of the funding.
Yeah. Stretch goals is actually printing.
Yeah.
That's sad.
What was that? Who commissioned this? Was this Oranga or not?
No, I'm not sure if that is that their name.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking earlier. Oranga usually great artist in his own right, but
Yes.
he's a big cable guy.
Oh man, no, this was a just like a fan on Instagram, someone who follows me there,
Cool.
who just happened to catch me opening my list last time, and then this was a this was a 9x12 commission, and like the original drawing was 9x12, but when I came back to it, because like I took the commission, I drew it, I scanned it in, I was like, great, it's ready for inks, and then I did a whole book, and I like came back to it, I was like, I need to like redraw this a little bit to kind of refresh the idea in my mind and just like see if everything still works the way that I think and if I remember what I was trying to do. And I ended up extending it to like the edges of the page, just to. I mean, I'm drawing a giant ass sentinel, and I felt like I was like really constricted where it was, so I was like, I should just make it bigger anyway. But the person was like so patient and just like didn't give me a hard time at all, and was just like, yeah, man, finish your book. I see you, and it was really great. So I'm like putting in just a little bit of extra in all of these commissions to just say thank you and all that stuff. But really, I'm just like doing as good a job as I would in any commission when I think about it. Really, I just yeah.
Us collectors hate when you guys upgrade pieces.
Why is that?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You see,
Oh,
guys,
it was sarcasm. Okay, gotcha. Real slow over here on the uptake.
you want to see someone's eyes light up. Just walk around the convention floor and talk to a collector who just got upgraded to a. Sorry, my dogs are fighting. The collector just got upgraded to an 11x17, or a penciled piece got inked, or yeah, you name it. It's always nice.
It's got to be nice.
And Kev, you're back to doing the pencils on.
Yeah, I'm looking at the old designs for this character because I haven't been trying to figure out, because I've been changing a lot of the designs from the first book to make it a bit more I don't know, work out the way I'm drawing them now. So I look at some of the stuff I've drawn before. And
Yeah, Bob finally got his book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my homie Bob. He's been following me and supporting my work for a very long time. Very appreciative of Bob. Glad he finally got his copy. Should have been one of the first, but the postman does what he will.
Postman.
It's really funny that you and Cam both got your books today of all days that we were going to do this stream.
I know. It literally got today at around like 4 p.m. for me.
Oh yeah, Bob is the commissioner of that Mojo piece I did.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Always, I kind of like like to see the trends in collectors, and it's a fun guessing game to try and figure out who commissioned what. So
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, like I know, like Joshua, even the guy who gets all the
Oh
Savage
yeah,
Cerebus.
Cerebus TMNT.
yeah.
Yeah,
He basically like you and I, Cam, talked, and we announced that we were going to work together, and then he was like, "Hey, are you open for commissions?" I'm like, "Oh my god, bro! Like, now's when you're asking me."
oh, yeah, Josh, he's awesome. He's gotten a lot through us, and yeah, I love that. It seems to be a pretty cool request that brings out the. Well, Kevin, you did one for him.
Yeah, I drew a Hydra for him.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I think I have the thing here. See, I have the pencil, so I have like an archive of all the stuff I've done, which is pretty awesome. I have it here.
Yeah, I like to keep one as well of the
The
scans and stuff.
inks is much better, but yeah, this was a fun one.
No, yeah, that one was awesome. That one was awesome. And I'm presuming because it's a very specific request. That big Chris Stevens one that Felix posted or Chris posted.
Oh, yeah. When I saw
Oh
that,
my gosh.
that has to be him.
Yeah, it's too specific not to be.
It is.
That's a beautiful piece.
Oh no, Josh already posted about that.
Oh,
It's definitely his.
Yeah, yeah. I actually, I might not. I don't know if I have him on there. I should follow him. But yeah, because I think it's one of the big ones too. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the wall power. What is it that they call it?
Yeah, it's like 18 by 24 maybe.
Yeah.
No, that piece was beautiful. He's got a good thing going. Every now and then you see some like really kind of obscure kind of request patterns, and you're like, I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but that one seems like it's a home run. I
Yeah.
like to see one that's not a home run from his collection.
Yeah, it's very like across the board. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Let's see, Victor, so when you start doing yours for him,
Yeah.
do you feel competitive about that or intimidated because he has this like
Bro,
body of work with great
bro,
artwork?
people like James Heron exists. Like,
Yeah, I know.
how the fuck am I supposed to feel competitive when James Heron is like, in his dungeon somewhere making some monstrosity, some beautiful monstrosity? Yeah, of course I'm a little bit competitive. I want to make the best art, but I'm like competitive with myself
Yeah,
because I think that's like the only healthy way to be competitive is
it
to
is.
make yourself better, and compare yourself to yourself yesterday. And if you're doing better today, then like hopefully you're doing good. Um, that's really it, man. Like I can't think about like being better than you. Well, fuck that, man. I don't want to think about that.
Oh, I do. I'm kidding.
I mean, everybody. I think everybody does a little bit, like right, like
Yeah.
all honesty, it's like, oh man, like if you do a Doctor Doom piece, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I've got one lined up. It's like, oh shit, like I've got to knock this out of the park now. Like,
Yeah, I think that's what I
but
meant
but
more like
but it's never gonna like be like, oh man, fuck Kevin, my Doom's gonna be better. It's like, oh shit, Kevin did a good one. I've got to do a good one too. Like
yeah.
it's like high tide raises all ships, like
That's what
kind
I
of
felt
thing.
with. It's like I brought that question up because of Joshua's body of like collection,
Yeah,
right? So you
yeah,
see, so now it's your turn. What are you gonna add to his collection, and how are you gonna
yeah,
stand out?
yeah.
That's what I felt when I did that piece. I was like, man, how am I gonna I don't want to just draw them standing around. So let me just draw a Hydra in there and just make
Yeah,
it different, So
dude, it's
that's
super dope.
yeah. So I guess it's not. I think competitive is not the good word. I think more, how do you stand out to be your own?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah. Most people
I don't
still
know,
expect.
man. I don't know what led me to take cable commission and do this, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's like I close my eyes mentally, speaking, and I just imagine like like you said, like not Cable just standing there. Oh, Rob Liefeld era Cable, pouches, shoulder pads, done. No, like I think like okay, where is he? He's fucking just jumped out of a fucking X plane and has like landed on the head of a sentinel and has stabbed a knife in there and he's got a fucking
Yeah.
bandolier grenades and he's like jumped off of it so that he can shoot this laser beam directly at its face and blow up these grenades and it's like just like the first moments of like a big battle between these sentinels and like Cable and whoever else is with him and like that to me gets me to the finish line more excited than just like here's character standing here.
Mm-hmm.
Like unless the character is very well designed, and I think Cable is like designed for sure. Uh, well, I'm not sure because like he feels like just like a magnet. Putting things on him is like always the right answer. He's just like more stuff is always better on Cable. So I
Yeah.
feel like anyway. So
The
it's
bigger, the better too. At
right,
least
yeah,
in
exactly. So
terms
that's
of
not
case.
really the challenge. I can like make him a big beefy guy with big guns, but like is he like using those guns? Is he
Yeah.
fighting something? Like that's the stuff that I like to challenge myself with. I have this Gara and Rock Lee piece. This is the next
Okay.
commission that I've got to do, and then I'm all caught up. But basically, this is like uh, I don't know. I don't even know if this is the best way to show you guys. I'll pull it up on my computer real quick. But it's if you watch Naruto, it's the moment the Gara Rock Lee fight,
I'm at the
and
weight.
yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
best fight in the show,
Yeah.
basically,
It is.
according to basically everybody. Uh,
The ankle weight moment. It takes off the weight.
yeah, he takes off the weight. Here it is. So like, let me see the easiest way to present my screen. There you go. So
Oh, nice.
like this is if you've seen the show, Gara
Nice.
is like a sand character, um, and Rock Lee is basically just One Punch Man the ninja but like as a kid. So he's not One Punch Man yet, but basically he's like training as hard as he can. And this is like a moment where this guy is basically untouchable according to everybody watching this fight, but Rock Lee has taken off his ankle weights and his like
Mhm.
his ankle weights. So now he can move as fast and as free as he possibly can. And this is like the first time he ever gets punched or touched in a fight. And this is like literally the moment where like he is going to get punched in the face because his sand armor doesn't get to him fast enough. But like the piece itself is like Gara or not Gara, Rock Lee like breaking through the sand armor. So like all through here, it's not like drawn in very much, but like there's going to be like elements of sand throughout this entire piece where you kind of get that idea that he's like fending him off with his sand powers or whatever. And that's the piece. That was my whole thought process. So like how many times can I show this guy beating this sand wall up before he like breaks through it and like make that look as cool as possible? And yeah, that was like my whole thought process for that piece. I was like, yeah, this is good enough. And
That's awesome.
it's like it leans to my strengths. It's all action. It's all motion. The sand I plan to do like similar to the Sentinel. I'm gonna use like a screen tone sheet to give it like a texture so that you really get
Hmm.
the sense that it's sand, and just have it like be explosive in sections, and just show Rock Lee, who is a very cool looking character, and like you can kind of see some funny faces. I tried getting like some big eyes
The
in
eyebrows
there, and
too.
like
The eyebrows.
the eyebrows and the
Mhm.
face, like like making sure that that he's like trying to break this with
Yeah,
all of his might, and like just like put as much power into every pose as
dude.
you can
I think what's
possibly get.
really impressive here too is the way you got Gar's eyes in that scene. The fear he had.
Yeah,
That one. Yeah,
yeah.
you got it perfectly.
Like he sees the punch coming. He knows he's
Yeah.
going to get hit. It's like that, like literally catching
Right.
that moment in like the split second. And that's the commission. And that's like, if I
That's
can
so
do
cool.
that with basically, if I can put that much thought and effort into every commission, then I can be like satisfied with the work. Anyway, so
Hell yeah,
No,
Victor.
I love hearing it. I think when I first started collecting, commissioning was, and I mean, there probably already was a lot of guys were trying to tell stories, but everyone was kind of after, an Adam Hughes commission or
Yeah.
something. But it seems like, just hearing your approach there, and whoever commissioned that piece is going to, it's thrilling to hear that, that level of insight, that level of storytelling. That's where the best commissions come from.
um, the commissioner, I'm not sure if you are familiar with Brian Clark. He
Oh
has
yeah,
a Brian Clark has a Usagi collection as well.
yes, he does. One of the
Yeah,
best.
a spectacular Usagi collection.
Yeah,
I have actually done a piece for Brian, an Usagi piece. That was, I think, the first thing I did for him. And then uh, the Rockley and Gara pieces for him as well.
oh yeah, Brian's an awesome guy. Great collection, great taste.
Super sweet guy. Very patient. Um, like just great all around.
Speaking of great guys with great taste, our pal Jason Kim is on and
Oh, nice,
says he's a fellow Bay Area guy, Kevin. So you
Oh
guys,
hell yeah.
nice.
I'm gonna be actually safe because they're gonna be around Oakland this weekend. I'm gonna be at the Maid Museum, the video game museum. It's gonna be like an all Asian table, kind of little show for us. We're gonna be doing our comics and stuff there. Be
nice.
fun, yeah. So it's my first show in the Bay Area because I've just never been really involved around here. I've always gone down to LA. I've gone somewhere else.
Well,
It's
tell
pretty
Jason that
exciting.
there you go, Jay. Show up and bring some of your collection to show these guys if you ever leave the house with some of those pieces, because I wouldn't. Jay
I think,
Jason's collection is out of this world.
yeah,
So
I think you did the Victor. You did the Mr. Miracle and Big Barter piece for him, right? I think I was looking at his account.
That was for Raj.
Raj, oh, never mind. Okay, that was Raj.
Raj, yeah.
Raj
That's
Patel.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. God, I love that Mr. Miracle piece you did. I stare at that
I
movie every
I
time I see it.
am I am very happy with how that came out. That was like kind of, I think, my heel, not heel turn moment, but like my pivot moment where I was like, every piece needs to be like this now. Um,
Yeah.
uh, where it was like, this is the new bar, basically, was that piece. A lot of stuff, if you look really close to it, and I don't want to like pull myself apart here, if you look really close, it's not like this stuff doesn't make the most sense, but I think like visually, it does exactly what I want. I think it tells you exactly what you need to see from it. Like it's just Mr. Miracle escaping. Like the accuracy of gizmos and stuff doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
And it was just a really fun piece. And I studied fine art in college and stuff. So like I have I have a minor in painting, and like I studied a lot of painters and masters and stuff. And I really just love adding sort of like classical, like religious iconography, like poses and Renaissance sort of
Yeah.
like figures, and him just sort of like elegantly falling, like almost like as if like nothing is even touching him, uh, out of like everything that's exploding around him. That was kind of like the vibe I wanted to give off, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And Raj has like commissioned me multiple times since, so I think he really liked it too.
That's what you want.
I Yeah, no, Raj. I think Raj has already got like the next commissions like figured out of what he's going to ask for when I open the next list. He's really great.
Yeah, Raj, he's another man of great taste. Yeah,
It sure is, man. He was nice enough to come to my table at Heroes, where we met for the first time, but he was nice enough to show me his like portfolio that he was carrying around with like a lot of the pieces that he had been able to get from the artists up to that point. So many like bangers in that portfolio. It was kind of uh, intimidating that like
Yeah.
he was like he was like putting my work into this folder with these people. I was like, oh no, maybe I should ask for that back and work on it a little bit longer.
Yeah, I know that feeling because I did one of my biggest collectors that really supported me a lot from the beginning was you probably know him, Tyler Turner, Cam.
Oh yeah, Tyler's the
Yeah.
man. Love
Yeah.
Tyler.
So he bought a bunch of pages from me and then he had me draw Ultra Mega.
Oh,
And
nice.
and I love James Herron's work, so I just put everything I had with that piece. He actually owns
Yeah,
the cover for Space Knights.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, he owns that one. So and he ordered another one which they did the Wolverine and Sentinel piece at the double base spread as well.
Yeah.
And he picked it up in Heroes and he just showed me his portfolio, which is filled with Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
Aaron works in there, so I felt the same way as you did.
It's
Victor.
like, are you sure you've got the right guy?
Yeah, you want me here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tyler's got a great collection. He's got that it's that Spider-Man that Daniel did.
Yeah,
That really
he made posters of it too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have one. He gave me one.
You gave me one too. Yeah, I was looking through some portfolios last night and I forgot I had that. I'm like, oh, I dig that piece. Yeah. Jay says Tyler's ahead of the curve. I think you're right. I think you're right. That guy is one step ahead of the rest of us when it comes to all you guys.
I have just been so like we did this last week, as I think you mentioned before, Cam, and we were talking. I like had asked you about like how taking commissions works and stuff, and you mentioned kind of having a list of like things I want to do in case the commissioner just like kind of wants to make it an artist choice sort of
Yep.
thing. And I have just been adding things to that list since you said that to me. It's I'm just like I really want to finish this cable. I'm gonna put so much love and effort into it, and I'm not gonna rush it at all. But like, boy, I can't wait to see what's next, like on the docket, because like I've had this commission for several months now, so
Yeah.
um, it's time to get it done, give it to the guy, and see what's next.
Well, yeah, and I can't remember. I think that might have been, yeah, we weren't recording at that point, but I think the big reason that came up was because we were talking just about the process.
Yeah, exactly.
But then there was Matt Allison and all the cover recreations
Mm-hmm.
he wants to do. He's got the file folder. and he'll do them normal or cankerized. So yeah, no,
Incorrect.
I dig it. I even as a collector, like some guys, you go in with a pretty specific idea of what you want,
Yeah.
but a lot of guys, you're like, I just want to see you draw something. Tell me what you want to draw, kind of thing. So no, I think that's awesome, and I like what Brunson says. The new legends. That's what we'll call you guys, not the new
Well,
gods, the new
Dang.
legends.
jeez.
No pressure, fellas.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
none at all.
I think someone, when I was talking about the new gods bootleg I want to do, they told me to call it newer gods, because I think bootleg titles are so fun to play with too.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to think like Fifth World or something.
Yeah, I do. I dig that. Newer gods. Well,
Newer
Jay,
god.
Jay brings up a good point here too about like not being it. Like, don't be afraid to say no, or even just say, I'm not quite feeling that request.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've done that
You
before
know,
too, though.
mm,
Go ahead, Victor.
go
Go ahead.
ahead, Kev.
Oh, like so, I don't draw like explicit women at all. Because one, I can do it, but it's not fun. I like drawing things fighting or something, right? So I got this quest back then of the creature from Black Lagoon and holding like a naked woman, but I was like, it's not really my thing. But the guy was very open to whatever ideas I come up with. He's like, I just want something cool. And so I gave him something that I thought would be really cool that you don't really see anywhere, which is King Kong versus the creature of Black Lagoon, like, as giants in the
yeah,
middle of the water
Oh,
with
I saw
yeah,
that piece. Yeah.
yeah, with the aircraft carrier. So that was what I showed him. Like, I can do this for you instead. He's like, oh yeah, this is something that you never thought about. And so I like to work with them somehow in different angles too.
yeah,
And
That's basically why I brought up the question to begin with, because I also love being able to nail down the composition and like talk to the person getting the piece and make sure that like the direction I'm headed is something that they like actually like.
yeah,
Um, because like something that I might think is cool might be just like eccentric to someone else, you know? Um, so maybe, I don't know. Not a lot of people have asked me to tone it down, but I have had that note given to me when like doing sample work for like comic work. So it's in the back of my mind. But yeah, I just like, hey, is this sketch okay? Like, and in terms of requests, saying no to requests,
hmm,
I agree to a certain extent, but also Mojo was a request that I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to draw Mojo. And it's like turned out being one of the best pieces I think I've ever drawn. So I think that I like finding the challenge in anything almost, but also I don't want to draw like portraits of kids and dogs. So like there
yeah,
is a line, there is a definite line, but I think if you give me a comic character, even if it's obscure and like I don't know the book or whatever, I will like dig up reference and try my best. You know?
What
hmm,
was not to say that you were gonna turn it down, but what was your apprehension with Mojo? Just didn't feel it,
That
or
wasn't my era or that wasn't not necessarily my era. That was my era of X Men. I love that time of X Men. But Mojo just like wasn't a character I was super familiar with. A and B, someone that I read a lot of comics of that I like necessarily enjoyed.
yeah,
I kind of my knowledge of Mojo was basically like seeing his action figure at comic book shops and like on the occasional cover seeing him like fuck with the X-Men, you know?
yeah,
And so like I knew what he looked like, but I didn't know the details. Like I drew him with 5 fingers on his hands and that was like something that I didn't realize I had done wrong until like I was almost done with the piece and I showed Bob the piece, and I was like, I had already scene reference where he had 4 fingers. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I gave him an extra finger. So I showed it. So I showed it to Bob, and I was like, if Bob says something, I'll change it. But if he doesn't, I'm gonna leave it and just say it was a stylistic thing. But
He wanted the extra finger.
he was like, hey, by the way, this is not a big deal, and you don't have to do anything about it. But Mojo actually only has 4 fingers on his hands. And I was like, oh god damn it! So I went and I changed it, and it's totally fine. And those are the kinds of things that I want to be able to do for people who commission me. Like I don't want to be like, okay, give me the money and shut the fuck up. Here's your drawing. Goodbye. Like like that is as far away from the transaction as I want to have with people.
Yeah.
I want to make people fucking excited for comics, not just like my art, but like, man, this is cool because it's Cable, and it makes me think about all the fucking cool Cable comics that I read, and I can't wait for the next one that's coming out like 6 months from now. You know, Rob Liefeld's back on the book, woohoo! Like, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, I really love comics, and I love drawing this kind of stuff. So I really want to make sure that people get what they want out of it. And I feel like those conversations are best had up front, so that everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I've been trying to handle everything on my own.
seems like in comics and art and commissions, yeah, transparency is the key because I think you discover 95% of folks are awesome. Commission,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, kind of thing.
I totally agree with that. Like seriously, the vast majority of people that have ever commissioned me have been incredible. Like
Well,
it's
Bob says he typed and erased that message 3 times because he didn't want you to have to redo it.
I wasn't sure if Bob was still in this in the chat, but yeah, that was a fun. I'm glad that we were both having that moment on the other end of the line.
Me too, Marvin. Me too.
Yeah, like as Cam, about that. Like as soon as I'm done with this commission and like this Cable commission, and I get it to the commissioner, and I'm already working on the next one, we can go ahead and start a new list. I think, like I said, like basically have everybody tell me what they want and tell you what they want, and we can figure it out and do all the logistical stuff. And then as soon as I'm done with the last commission, I can just right away jump into drawing.
Yeah, there you guys heard it first. Victor's commission list is coming very soon.
Very soon.
No,
Very soon.
Awesome.
No time to waste, guys. No time to waste. I'm excited too.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see some crazy requests come your way.
Bring it on.
Did you send me? Maybe you did. I couldn't remember if you'd sent me the scan of the Lone Wolf and Cub.
I hadn't yet because I wanted to be sure that the commissioner had it before it got like posted and all of that stuff.
Right.
But I can definitely send it your way right now.
Yeah. No. All good. No rush. Yeah. As long as the commissioner's happy, which he will, because I think you talk about Mojo being your favorite piece you've done. I think the Lone Wolf is my favorite piece you've done.
Well, if Mojo was done horizontally, it might be my desktop background right now, but the Lone Wolf and Cub piece is actually my desktop background right now.
Needless to say, I would be thrilled with either of those if I was any collector. Because it's funny with Mojo too, because my first experience with him was the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, exactly. That I've from the cartoon as well.
Yeah, it was kind of like I didn't really have affection for that stuff, even though with like Art Adams and in hindsight, it's pretty fun, like stories that involving Mojo. But I just wanted Wolverine centric episodes. I wanted Wolverine to fight Sabretooth. That's all I wanted. So if I got a Mojo episode, I was upset as a kid.
Yeah. it just like it just made me realize like I I don't know, because I opened the list and I was like, I'm not sure what people are going to ask for, because I've tried to open commissions before and people were like trying to get me to do like character turnarounds for their, magnum opus fanfic thing that they're doing, and it's like just like do the thing that you don't do, like draw characters in a static pose turned around and like make it good, uh, and just like weird requests that I wasn't like a fan of. So when I opened that commission list and Bob asked for Mojo, I was like mentally saying like I'm going to say no to things I don't want to do. Like I can't have this experience again. And the first thing I get asked to do is Mojo, and I'm like, oh shit. Foot in mouth right away. Here we go. And it's Bob, and I want to make Bob happy because Bob is a patron of mine. He's always followed me on Instagram and supported my stuff, and is always like first one through the door to get whatever I'm making. So I was like not going to say no to Bob. And so Bob was like, "Look, this is my one. This is my request, and if you say no, I have another one. But I want Mojo with like a wall of TV screens." And that was basically the description that he gave me. And I was like, that description was enough to get me to like kind of think of mentally. Like I said, I closed my eyes mentally and saw what I wanted to do, and it was like that piece that I made.
Yeah.
And it turned out like it took me a long time to do because I was like hesitant at a lot of stages. I wanted to be sure that it came out the way that it ended up coming out, like really badass. And so like the TVs could have been empty. Like I almost called it done before I even put any details in the TVs. And it was just going to be like white light basically. And I like let it sit there for weeks, just like, am I going to do it or not? Or do I just send it to him? And I decided to do it. And I'm glad I did. But like, those are like the kinds of things that I consider, like I try not to take any shortcuts, and um, doing that Mojo, saying yes to something that I wasn't really excited right away for, I became excited as I did it, like
Yeah.
throughout the process, because I was like making it a cool challenge for me, and just trying to elevate myself as an artist, technique wise, and being able to show things clearly. And like, I don't know, man, I was like just trying to level up very much. And I think Mojo was like was the result of Mr. Miracle, like that piece where I was like, everything has to be this good now. Then I did Mojo. Like, okay, what's an 11 by 17 version of my best work look like? Here's Mojo, It's basically, I was basically trying to make example pieces for commissions because I didn't have very many recent ones.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing too when you get those unwanted commissions, because we don't have those examples to show what we can do.
Exactly.
But we don't have time to do them as well.
Yeah, because you're not getting paid to do them.
No. So when you do get that opportunity, like the Mr. Miracle, you have one now. Like for me, that was my Usagi. And if you've seen that one, that was the one guy just said, draw Usagi. Because before I would get portraits, I would get like, turnarounds. It's just, but they paid. So sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. But and I got Usagi, and it's like, just do Usagi. Okay. Can I do it like Lone Wolf and Cub kind of covered, like Frank Miller covers? And it's like, yeah, let's do it. And that was the first time that I felt like, oh, this is what it feels like to be commissioned by an actual comic art collector.
Yeah.
And so that's when after that I met Tyler Turner, and he just started sending me stuff that I wanted, and it became this landslide of just stuff that I want to draw. And there's never been like a feel like, oh, I wish I was drawing this instead. It's more just like, wow, I get to draw that now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Now I have a Space Ghost one I'm gonna do.
Oh my god,
it's so cool. So I'm like, that's gonna be so fun because I did the Space Ghost 5x7 drawing of the sketches.
What's up, Dustin?
Oh, hey, Dustin. Oh, hey, Dustin.
Dustin ordered a book today.
Awesome.
I already I already packed it up and put it in the box. I'm gonna take it to the mailbox tomorrow.
That's
He's
awesome.
gonna he's gonna hold it you to that. You gotta make sure.
Yeah, yeah, good.
So I guess I pose this question to both you guys though, in terms of like when you're creating the composition, penciling the piece out on the your favorite commissions you've done, the pieces you guys have really like felt like you knocked it out of the park. Did you know that it was going to be killer before you laid any inks down? Like, was the composition the thing that said, "Oh yeah, this I nailed this," or did that feeling come after you laid the inks down and screen tones? And kind of curious what your thinking is on that.
I think for me it's both. Depends on what I'm drawing. Mostly if I'm comfortable drawing a certain character, I can see in the pencils that okay, this is gonna be something that I'm gonna love already. But sometimes, like actually, a good example is Victor's Humark's piece. I wasn't too sure until the inked it.
Okay.
And yeah, so in pencils, like I can probably show it here. I did his pencils for his book. Oop, let me find it here. It looked great, but I wasn't sure yet because let me find it. So much shit here. There you go. Like this, very kind of messy, and this like blobs of just the when I do the
Yeah,
Kirby
yeah.
dots thing, and then I was like,
Because
I
in
guess
your
just
head,
do. Yeah, go ahead.
in your head, those are like spots of black and
Yeah,
white, and yeah, yeah.
exactly. And then these like,
But here it looks like a
do stick
mess.
exactly. And so like, do I just do stick figures, like And then there's not rendering on these; it's just a placeholder for a shadow or something.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
these are suits. There's no rendering and all over them. It's just the shape, and they're very messy. And Victor, you draw very loose with your pencils, which I've noticed a lot. Which is amazed when after you ink it, it's like you see that there, and it's kind of the same way I am, but I'm a bit tighter with my digital pencils. But with this one in particular, I wasn't sure until I inked it. But then when I do something like this one with Metal Beast, I already knew this was gonna be a fun piece
Yeah.
because I know what I'm gonna put in here. I know what textures I'm gonna do because they're all there solidly, and it's gonna be a fun one. But it really just depends on what I'm doing. Like this Berserk one too. Like I had fun penciling this demon
Yeah.
back here, so and I know I'm gonna use screen tones here, and it's formulating in my mind, but the hue marks is really uncertain to the way it's gonna go sometimes. Yeah. I don't know what your thoughts on that too, Victor.
Um, I I feel like I get nervous about my execution more than whether or not it's going to look cool because I feel
Mhm.
like I my intention is always make it look cool. So it's like my hesitation or fear, I guess, isn't whether or not it's gonna look cool because if I can pull it off, it will, right?
Gotcha.
So it's like the fear is like, can I pull it off? Like I'm not super great with backgrounds. So like I fake basically all my backgrounds. There's minimal perspective at times, um, like um, the lone wolf and cub piece. There's no like perspective there. I just drew those trees in the most like satisfying way that I could. That didn't like take away from the rest of the piece. Um, so like things like that make it kind of scary. Like, oh boy, if I don't like get close enough, it's gonna look weird and then it won't be good. Or it'll just be something that I notice every time I look at the drawing, and so I won't ever want to look at it again once I'm done with it. Um, but no, I'm not worried about whether or not it's going to be a banger. I think I try to make all of them that. So I don't know.
Couple questions. Brunson's asking, what kind of Procreate brush do you use, Kevin?
I think I got this from what's his name? Max Hugh. I forgot his name. It's called Max Hugh Mechanical Pencil. It's just like the best mechanical pencil brush I found online. And so it gives me that. Let's see. I can do these like kind of cool thick lines. I can cover up pretty easily because I don't like just dropping a big, red mark on there. I like to have that kind of pencil feel like this because when I
Yeah.
get to on paper, it kind of communicates the type of marks I'm going to do, like this. Like I know I'm going to be going this direction when I go inking, and I have this kind of guideline to like, oh, there's going to be like the hard line around there, and this really communicates that for me. So that's that. Nothing special about this, but it's just the way it feels too.
And then Dustin's just asking, how much is your personal connection with the character come into play on, I guess, well, it'd be commissions.
The character into play. So for me and Victor, or just
Both, either of you. Yeah.
yeah. So for me, at least, I've gotten characters that I like and I love. Like the Usagi. I really like his character because he's a samurai and he's also a rabbit. So when I did it, I try to put myself in like, oh, this might be my chance to just, let's say I'm doing a cover, I'm doing a story about him. Let me show it off to the way I would do it, And so that's kind of my connection to where I bring it up like this, like, oh, I want to see them in the heat of battle, like this. And I try to put myself in the perspective of I'm in charge of this book or in charge of this character, and that I get to play around with it. And I think that's the same thing what happened with the creature from the Black Lagoon. With this one, with King Kong, is that it showed me that, oh, what if I was in charge of a Black Lagoon comic? This would be it. Him versus King Kong. You get some giant serum, and the military is after them. So that's kind of how I connect with them that way. It's like, I'm in charge of this character. What am I going to do with it? So.
Oh, that's an interesting approach.
I think it's that storyteller approach, because we do make comics, and so you try to make it interesting to, like, I think what Victor said earlier with, oh, what's the panel before this scene with Cable, fighting the Sentinel? It's kind of the same feeling about that. It's like, oh, this is the moment of the story. Maybe this is the splash page of that book, or this is the cover of that book, or this is the first image of that book. So that's kind of how I see it too.
Yeah.
Have that connection with that. It makes it fun.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Dustin. Well, guys, I think we're running a little over. Maybe look to wrap up, and maybe fire up again in the coming weeks. Usually we have Brian Level with us, but I kind of threw. This was an off week, but as love the interaction. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And if we can kind of continue on, we might start doing these weekly. It's been a lot of fun, and just for me as a viewer as well, listening to Kevin and Victor, two of my favorite creators in the game, just shoot the shit, tell me what's going on in their brain. It's been awesome. So Victor, Kevin, thank you guys.
Really appreciate you guys being very patient with me earlier in the stream. I don't know what the hell happened because I haven't changed anything since last week.
Yeah, you were the worst, man.
Yeah, I just didn't want to talk to you, Kevin. Nah, man, I'm literally so thankful that I got to meet all of you guys at Heroes, and like the Ink and Drink group. Like, even if Heroes didn't exist, like being in that Discord with those guys is incredible. And Cam, like, obviously I'm just like bursting at the seams with excitement of what we've got in store, because like you've still got a bunch of my art that's like still got to get dropped.
Yeah.
So there's so much more in the tank, guys, and thank you for hanging out and listening to us talk. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
And I am
thank you
right there with the gratitude to everyone, artists, collectors alike. It's great, and we'll keep rolling. So thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Victor, and thanks everyone for tuning in. And we'll we'll see you guys in a week. Have a
Hell
good night.
yeah.
Guys, take care, guys.